Let's welcome our guest in the studio this morning. Her name is Mutheu Ndalana. Mutheu is a citizen seeking justice, and she'll tell us the story. Her father was a police constable, Alfred Ndalana. He was killed on the 28th of July 2016, 3 headshot wounds, and investigations took place, and very many things have happened since then. She took to social media. She asked people to help her raise this issue publicly so that investigations can commence. Investigations again took place, and a lot of things have happened during all this time. Mutheu, welcome to the Situation Room.
Thank you.
Karibu sana.
Asante.
Now, just tell us the story of your father. What happened to your father in 2016? He was a police constable.
Yeah.
Where was he working? Where was he posted?
My father, Alfred, was working in Kisumu. He was a rider. He was working for traffic. He was a traffic rider. And I would like to say before he died, he was home around June, after vetting. He was home. He came back home immediately after vetting.
And where is home?
Home. We used to stay in Nairobi. We have lived in Nairobi the entire time.
Okay.
So him, with all the shifting from here to here, we just had to settle for Nairobi. But himself, he was in Kisumu. So I was in high school, Form 3 then, and he came home, and when he was sending me back to school, he cried. That is quite hard, seeing your father cry. And he couldn't say, this is the reason why I'm crying. He just cried and told me, work hard, my daughter. Those were his last words. And he went, he left me at school and went back home. Then on 28th, it happened. I was in school, but my mom was home. So my mom got a call from the lady who used to do his washing. She said, hello, mzee amejinyonga. Then that was the end of the call. It's 10 p.m. So my mom is like, amejinyonga. She called back. She asked, ebu rudia, please, umesema nini? Apana, ako sawa, amepelekwa kwa hospitali. My mom was like, no, this is really wrong. This is weird. She said, it's 10. You can't get a flight at that time. So she called my dad's siblings and asked them, mi kuna kitu naambiwa na sielewi. I'm asking, can we go to Kisumu right now? So waka collect each other. They went to Kisumu. On reaching, they found the door open. There was no crime scene, the stickers, nothing. The house was open. So they went to the bedroom.
And what time is it that they arrived?
Around 6, 7 in the morning.
Right.
Because they had to take a drive to Kisumu. And ninduru, wanapiga nduru. So everyone was coming. Oh, sijui nini, poleni, imefanyika. And she demanded, where's the body? No one wants to tell her. No, they don't want to tell her, to talk to her. No, they're refusing to tell her penye mwili iko. And she was about to beat one police lady. Alichukua stool, akamwambia mutaniambia. And she's talking to someone else. Amza, nimwambie nisimwambie. So my mom is like, ni nini mnaficha? Kama imefanyika sawa, muniambie penye mwili iko. They finally told her after a struggle. She went to Jaramogi Oginga Odinga
Referral hospital.
Yes. So what she found, oh my God, they didn't have the decency to look for a bed and place him. What they did, they just dropped the body hapo chini and left. Like he was nothing. It's really wrong that you will work hard and your colleagues will be the one that will get your body from the house and dump it. Like you're nobody. I mean, you just died. You're nobody. So wakatafuta, they got a bed and everything. So they started demanding for a postmortem to be done. Wanakata. Keys haziko, the pathologist is not around. Everything, excuses. huwezi fanya nini bila kifunguo kwa sababu lazima ulipe ndo postmortem ifanywe. Then she said sawa, kaeni na mwili. Akaenda where he was placed, the Kisumu Central, he was there. Then when she went there, one of the ones who used to share a house with my dad calls and says, hakuna haja ya postmortem, mtu akisha kufa ameenda. So just don't do it. There's no need. And my mom is like, really? How do you just tell? I'm widowed. This is the wrong time to tell me such a thing. Why are you telling that to me? She said, no, mi nitafanya. Nyinyi kama mtaki, I will go ahead and have it done. They did the postmortem. There were 2, the entry holes were 2 around the neck. The bullets, one was at the nose hole, one went to the chin, the other one went almost here at the forehead. So it was done, and she had come back home because we need to start to prepare for the burial.
Yeah.
So on 29th, my mom's friend comes for me at school. I didn't believe. She was like, I was just told by my teachers that my dad is gone. I didn't get a reason. So I get home, I Google. You know, Google has answers. So I just typed recent deaths in Kisumu. And what I met was really, I hated that man. I hated my father. Because they said he committed suicide. It was all over the newspapers, TV. I'm like, gosh, Dad, how can you give up on, not even mom, like I was your best friend. I was so tight with that man. And how do you just give up on me, of all people? So I hated him. I couldn't believe he just decided I will die.
So it was immediately reported that
That night.
PC Alfred Ndalana committed suicide
Yeah.
by shooting himself in the head.
Yeah. At the report, they said 5 times.
5 times.
Yes.
In the head.
Yeah.
What made you not believe this? I mean, at what point did you now start questioning and feel this does not add up?
It was until mom came. And I asked, hey, mom, ni ukweli like hii kitu ilifanyika? Mama was like, hapana, usiamini kitu yote iko kwa media. That's a lie. Kenye sisi tuliona, dadi ni kuliwa aliuliwa. Na I started asking myself, anyway, how do you shoot yourself 5 times? Kwa kichwa, how does that happen? So I finished school, and that's when I started inquiring. Hey, anyway, what could have happened? I started reading about it. Kwa sababu the gun was an MP5. It wasn't automatic. It was a manual. So how can I sleep, then wake up, take another shot, go back to bed, take another one? I'm like, anyway, this, even Afro cinema doesn't do this to us. It doesn't lie that much. So yes, nothing happened. We knew about no case. Nothing was there. Nothing was told to us. So 2020, which is last year, I raised this issue on Twitter. I was like, this and this happened to our family, and we don't understand. That's when the DCI called. We went to the DCI. We went to IPOA. And when we went to the DCI, we had never, for 4 years, we had never had the postmortem reports. So when I demanded from social media, that's when the CID who was working on, he was bitter. He almost beat my mom up. I was like, Munanika huko kwa social media. Uliitisha postmortem report nikakata. And we had asked. We through our lawyer. He called. He's like, hello, nataka postmortem ya Ndalana. Then he's like, sawa. Sa kuna kitu ilifanyika. I had to take the another step. Kwa sababu we are demanding for it. You don't want to give it to us. So what should we do? I went ahead. And they were like, you are airing a situation that is in court in social media. That's illegal. You should be arrested. Why should I be arrested?
Was the matter in court?
Was the matter in court? Had
It
gone to
was,
court?
but
Okay.
we didn't know.
All right. So who had taken the matter to court, and what were the grounds for this?
So it was an inquest. It had two files, one in 2016 and another one in 2018. It was an inquest on the state versus my dad.
And are you aware of who originated it? Or
No,
it was
I
the state.
think
Okay.
it just I don't know. I think it just happens when someone dies and it's weird. Maybe I don't know. Because it was I don't know. I really don't know
Okay.
how it generated. But yes, so we demanded we should if something is going on in court and it involves our member, I believe it's our right to know that this and this is going on.
Sure.
And no one is telling us, so how will I know it's in court? Will I just wake up and know, yes, it's in court? So I said I didn't know, and you don't have a reason to arrest me. It was a lot. It's just a lot of drama. A lot of drama. After that, we went to court like a few days later, a weeks later. Then one of my mom's employees immediately she went to court, I think on Wednesday. On Friday, she got shot. Alipigwa risasi kwa tumbo. It's lucky she survived. So my mom was like, mnamaanisha nikienda court ndo sasa vitu zitaendelea kufanyika. Kitambo 2019 they attacked my mom.
Who's they?
When the police took the cartridge, they said hii risasi ni yetu. So we don't know. From Buruburu, yes. They were like, haya, hii risasi kwa nini yetu? So we don't know who was that.
And you were in their presence when they said this?
My mom, yes,
Your mom
she
was there?
She was there.
Okay.
Saa kashanga, aya, ni yenu. Kwa hivyo inamaanisha ni nyinyi mnatumika kutushambulia ama ni nini inaendelea? Kwa sababu kani yenu ni hiyo kitu ilienda. They robbed her, took all her money, everything.
Where was she attacked? At home?
Buruburu, no. She was closing one of her businesses.
So a business premise.
Yeah.
Unknown people came and attacked her and robbed her and went.
They shot at the door. You know, she was fighting them.
Okay.
She was like, hapana, mi siwezi wapea pesa yangu, sijui nini. Then he was like, unajua mama, unadhani ni mchezo. Wakalipua mlango ya duka, wakifunga. Sasa wakalipua. So my mom was like, guy, okay, it's serious. Wacha tu niwaachie. They took everything and went. And yeah, to me, all this can't be happening if it was really suicide. Why are you attacking us? And if the bullet was yours, why all this if it was honestly suicide?
Ndalana, has anybody... I mean, we know that the inquest was going on.
Yeah.
We know that there are people then that you now try to speak to. We know that there was a request for a post-mortem. Did anybody come and sit you down or even request and say, walk me through what may have happened? Your mother, walk me through what may have happened leading up to this incident. Do you know of any kind of investigations that took place before your complaint or even after your complaint?
Before... when Dad died around August, that's when my mom found some cartridges from the whatever happened, the net. So she took them to DCI headquarters.
The mosquito net in the bed?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one that was in Kisumu, the one Dad was using. When she was unpacking everything, she found a cartridge and she took it to the DCI, and I think that's all had been done. Till then, until I complained, nothing at all. And when we went to the DCI, the case was taken from this particular CID, the one who was handling it, to another team. And that team, we kept complaining to them when my mom is getting followed from work. They're just fishy things are happening. We will report to them. Each and every time we will report, and we will ask them, we will remind them to remind, kwa sababu walikuwa hawaendi kotini. The one who was dealing with cyber crime, they'll be summoned to court and they won't show up, and that's a loss to us because we have to pay a lawyer, we have to travel to Kisumu, and your guys are not showing up, and you're the people who are handling the case. What's not happening? So actually nothing happened, nothing really. It was mom just explaining to IPOA this and this happened, this took place, mom explaining to the new team this and this happened, this took place, and
It's like they don't have a record where they are picking up from and following up the conversation.
No. It's only what my mom will say, what are her cries, only that. Yeah.
In the studio with us is Mutheu Ndalana. She is seeking justice. Her father was shot 5 times in July 2016. Several investigations since then have concluded, even in court, they've concluded that it was suicide. The family does not believe this story, and therefore the family, Mutheu and her siblings and her mom, are seeking justice and saying, no, we want this particular issue investigated again and again and again. And she'll be telling us the kind of experience she's had seeking justice. 2016, she was in Form 3. Her father was a traffic police officer attached to the Kisumu, and then he was shot on the 28th of July 2016. Her mother was informed of this. Somebody called her and told her, okay, this was what has happened. The mother went to Kisumu. The mother found that the body has already been transferred to the hospital. And since then, nothing much seemed to have happened. Until last year, when Mutheu herself decided, let me start pursuing this and finding out what exactly happened to our father. Because initially they were told, committed suicide. And that was it. And so when Mutheu and her family started raising this matter through the public and social media, they were invited to the DCI, and they were also invited to the Independent Policing Oversight Authority to record statements and to have their case started. That's when they found out that there has actually been an ongoing inquest into the death of Police Constable Alfred Ndalana. That inquest, Mutheu, was it concluded?
Yeah, it was. It was concluded 23rd June. Yes, which
23rd June this year.
Yeah, this year.
All right.
It was supposed to be on 15th, but the magistrate said she's not ready to give a verdict. So she had us come the next week. That's from Nairobi to Kisumu.
Okay.
Come the next week, and that's when she decided it's a suicide case. Gave 3 reasons. One being the family didn't have its own pathologist. Number 2, it's only the family that raised concerns on the death, on the nature of the death. And number 3, there wasn't enough evidence that could be used for the case. Yeah.
So they basically ruled out murder and said the only thing that they are seeing here is this could have been suicide.
Yeah.
Nothing has been brought before this inquest to show anything close to a third party involved or second party involved in the death of PC Ndalana.
No.
Remember, every case of this nature, the very people who investigate are policemen, police persons. And that is the evidence that the magistrate relies on, unless somebody has other evidence other than what the police have provided. And if the police are investigating, it is what they present that will actually form the final determination of the particular case. But like Mutheu, I find it strange, or maybe I've been watching too many movies. Shooting yourself once is quite a feat. And anywhere from the neck upwards will probably kill you. 5 times.
Did you have a lawyer who represented you in this inquest?
Yeah.
Did your family have representation in the inquest?
Yes, we did.
And this was your lawyer?
Who?
This was a lawyer that
Yes,
you,
it
that
was
you,
a lawyer. Yeah.
What does your lawyer say about the verdict of the inquest?
What is he saying?
Has he
Actually,
appealed?
he was expecting that. Yeah, he was. I think he just knew the way. He was just saying, he will just tell us, just wait. We will just go ahead and appeal. Kwa sababu he was, ungemsikia, you know the tone someone just gave you. It was like, yeah, it's as if he just knew this will just get to a dead end. But yes, we will appeal. Yes, we are hoping to.
Let me ask you
appeal.
the tough question here, Mutheu.
Yes.
Was the lawyer behaving this way because the lawyer could basically see the evidence that has been adduced in court in this inquest and what the family is relying on and seeing, well, here really it's overwhelming that there could be a likelihood of suicide? Or is your lawyer behaving that way because they are seeing this has been manipulated? What is your lawyer saying?
What
Was he saying that there has been manipulation and tampering in this inquest? Or is your lawyer saying, I think what has been presented really makes sense?
No, alisema hakuna ukora. Hii ni ukora, and we can see it. Hii ni ukora na ni sawa. It's as if he just knew whatever, maybe walihongana, there was corruption involved. He knew. It's as if he was just waiting for us to just...
You know, the really tough questions that one would ask, maybe you're not even in a position to answer because you wouldn't know. You were a student at the time of your father's death.
Yeah.
Your father was a policeman.
Yeah.
Now, the nature of police work doesn't mean that everyone you come across will become a fan and you'll be endeared towards them. There is a likelihood that in the course of doing your work, even if you just do it properly, you are likely to rub certain people the wrong way. Now, did your dad ever talk about people he may have disagreed with or he had rubbed the wrong way or people he did not get along with?
Yeah, he was complaining. He even called on Tuesday and he was married on Thursday. He called his brother and he was like, nasumbuliwa na wakubwa kazini. Wananisumbua, tafadhali muniombe. And he kept saying, huku kazini wakubwa wananisumbua. And he was ready to retire. He was just ready to call it quits. And before he alikuwa ashaanza kuapply kuacha kazi. He was in the process. Ameomba ruhusa, anakatazwa. So the Friday, he was supposed to come home to Nairobi. So, we don't know. He was complaining. Anapiga simu, anasema ki. Hadi akapigia the OCS, OSPD, the one who even talked to the media on the nature. He's called Mwakio. Akamuuliza, kwa sababu before, in June, that's when, inaitwaje, the Kavulundi thing. Vetting. That's when vetting happened. And he was among the police officers that were vetted. So, akapigia mdosi wake akamuuliza, nikuulize nimekosa kwa sababu huna furaha na mimi. Aliuliza na alicomplain. Si ati hakukua. Na yeye mwenyewe hata point ilifika akasema nataka kuacha hii kazi. Anyway, he was fed up. Whatever was happening, he wouldn't tell us. Kwa sababu maybe it will put mom in danger, it will put us in danger. He just maybe decided to go with him. He will ataumia peke yake kwa sababu also men tend to not talk a lot.
And did you not confide in his brother? So he was calling his brother 2 days before he died.
Yeah.
And he complained that he's getting harassed by his bosses at work.
Yeah.
And that he's even willing to call it quits.
Yeah.
Did he not go further, provide any inclination of some detail of what exactly was going on?
My dad was a very silent man. He would never talk, just watch. So
Didn't he have any police individual who was his friend? Surely in the
Kisumu
forces.
was really different for that man. Let me tell you, he didn't even have friends the way in Mombasa.
He worked in Mombasa.
Yeah, he was in Mombasa for a very long time. And there would meet friends. Many. We have known them for a long time. They're still friends with us till today. But Kisumu was quite different because we would go there. And hata angesema huyu ni rafiki yangu. Ilikuwa very different. I would say that was a different, I don't know what happened there. We couldn't know what really happened, but I won't say that was the relationship my dad had with his workmates in Mombasa. If I'll compare, it was totally different for me.
So, 23rd of June, I mean, less than a month ago, is when now the decision on this inquest was taken, right? Has there been, I mean, so you said an appeal will happen thereafter, but has there been any kind of communication to you, even from a higher investigative arm saying, well, this is done, or likely to look at it further? Has there been any communication from anybody saying anything to you or your mother about this? Or from where they are sitting, it's case closed, we are moving on?
No one has reached out. I was even surprised DCI didn't reach out this time. But IPO just called yesterday. Is it yesterday? And they were like, habari ni sisi tutaongea. They just said tutaongea.
Okay, so according to IPOA now, what IPOA is saying is that now they're going to pick up the case and look into it. Is that what they're saying? Or just, hello, how are you doing kind of communication?
They were just like, habari nzuri. Tulikupigia na tutaangalia. We will look into it. Maybe. Let's hope.
They're updating you and telling you that they haven't forgotten the case.
Yeah, let's see that.
During this whole period, well, last week you took to Twitter again and you said this is the verdict that has come out, and you're still saying you still don't believe it, you still want to pursue justice. And during that, you also shared more details of what you believe has been coordinated harassment and attacks on your family members.
Yeah.
What are these attacks? One, you've told us that your mother was attacked at her business, and then her worker was shot. What else has happened?
Kufuatwa. The funny thing is, we saw the CID. He came to my mom's workplace. Mama akamwona vizuri tu akiongea na mtu wa pikipiki. And from that day, my mom started getting followed. What does that mean?
How do you know she was followed?
They were 3. Moja anangoja kwa gate, anamfuata nyuma ya gari. You see the way? Anaenda. Ikifika hapo Jogoo Road, mwingine anamfuata. Yani, unaona tu. And you can't do that.
Same vehicles, different days?
Same pikipiki.
Okay.
She even reported it to the DCI. Same pikipiki. Inamngoja a particular point, inamfuata. You can't do that to me for 3 days. That's awkward. Will you be waiting for me each and every time? Kwa sababu you won't say huna kazi unangojea hapa leo, kesho ukue hapo tena, kesho kutwa. So when she reported it, it stopped. So that means that CID was summoned, maybe, hopefully. We tend to believe so. Because it stopped. Immediately she reported it to the DCI. Yeah.
Okay. One of the things that you said that struck me during this inquest in terms of the decision that was made is that you did not have your own pathologist to find out what happened. You had a lawyer also. Did he give any indication of what you needed to have in terms of ammunition going into this inquest? Because knowing that such information would be required of you, did he advise that perhaps it's something that we ought to do? Since we're going into this thing, let's go into it properly. Did you receive any of this kind of advice? Because it seems as though, I mean, from what she reported as well, that, you needed a pathologist. You didn't have your own. You didn't have this, that, and the other evidence. Was it that your lawyer maybe didn't tell you some of the things that you needed to find? Because it would appear that had some of this information been given during the inquest, maybe things would have turned out differently.
Let me tell you, when the postmortem was being done, it took 2 days. It was done, I think, on a Sunday. That Sunday, my mom was in Nairobi. So what she did, aliacha brothers, my dad's brothers, huko Kisumu, with the body. Kwa hivyo, I believe she never knew what is really happening.
So when the postmortem was taking place in Kisumu,
My mom was in there.
but your father's brothers were present.
Yes.
So there was family representation present in the room during postmortem.
Yes.
Okay.
So I tend to believe my mom at that position, at that moment, she never knew what is happening, what is required of me. So yeah, aliachia ndugu, alisema mimi nimeenda Nairobi kwa watoto kwa sababu we are here in Nairobi all of us. So akasema mutamalizia Kenya inahitajika. So he tend to believe maybe she didn't know, we didn't know.
But did
maybe
your
the
lawyer
family.
advise you during this period that perhaps there was more information that you needed to get? And then, I mean, obviously there was a position at which you were at, and let's just say it as it is. The position at which you're at was solitary, you were alone. Okay? And you had a lawyer then who was representing your interests during this inquest. Did he advise? Because, I mean, if it was about, forking out more money, saying this was necessary, along the line, did he advise that this is what you actually need to find?
No, I won't say he said anything, especially regards to the post-mortem. Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, nothing.
Okay.
What do your uncles say? What do they think? Your father's brothers, do they feel the same way that you and your mother feel? That this ought to be investigated further, that there is something that is untoward that could have happened to their brother?
What I can say, families have issues. That's all I can say. I can't speak on their behalf. Just know we are alone. This is me doing this by myself.
This is Mutheu and her mother seeking justice for your father and her husband.
Yeah.
In the hierarchy of the family your father came from, what number was he?
Oh, he was the second last born to the third wife.
Okay. And how many siblings did he have?
More than 20.
All right. And of all the siblings he had, would you consider your father to have been perhaps one of the most successful members of that family?
The family, most are in the force. I would say most are in the police force. Different.
Most of your father's siblings
Are police officers.
are police officers
Yeah.
or in the army,
Police.
Just
officers.
police.
Yeah.
and in various ranks
Yeah.
and positions.
Yeah.
So what it therefore means is that even as people who are within the forces, they were in a position to have assisted with all the investigations because they are, after all, in the police force.
Yeah. They would if they were. If I don't know if they
Are any of
wanted.
them in the DCI?
No. But somewhere around
And are any of them in a senior position or
Yeah.
in senior positions? How senior?
RC.
What is on earth is an RC?
Regional Commissioner.
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're saying this,
That's PPO.
Dosi.
as you're saying this, then, Mutheu, do you feel that perhaps more could have been done by virtue of the fact that you had other relatives in the service?
Yeah. I believe I wouldn't have to struggle this much with someone in such a position. Someone who has been in the intelligence for a very long time. So
Did your father get along with his siblings?
that was everyone's person. Kabisa. Even when you talk to my cousin, be like, hakuna mtu alikuwa mnoma ka uncle. That's what they can say. So I believe they were okay. Hakuwa na maneno na mtu, mnyamavu tu amenyamaza. Saa kama kulikuwa na shida, labda the other party yako na shida, lakini yeye ana shida naye. Ama kaa ilikuwa mimi sijui.
So at this point, Mutheu, you
Yes.
are seeking to reopen this case,
Yeah.
right? So you want it reopened. And you've taken to social media saying you would like people's support so that this matter can come back to the limelight. And the only other information that now you've received since the 23rd of June, when the verdict of the inquest was read, was IPOA saying we will be in touch. Have you been back to the DCI? Have you reported the DCI formally saying we would like to reopen this? Have you instructed your lawyer to pursue any sort of appeal on this particular case, to revive the case?
Yes, the lawyer agreed. We did agree that yes, we will appeal. But let me tell you about the DCI. Let me say I gave up on them. they're the ones who carry out the investigations, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're the ones who have been giving the going to court, giving the whatever's the instructions, giving what they feel. So I feel, honestly, I lost hope in the DCI.
You know, one of the things that we will, of necessity, have to do, we'll have to reach out to the police service, and we'll have to seek the opinion of somebody within the police service, whether it's the spokesperson, whether it's somebody from the DCI, because when issues like this are raised, we would also like to know what it is that the police have to say on this matter officially. Yes.
Indeed. So, Mutheu, you've taken to social media. Speak to the people now. You're asking for help. What kind of help are you seeking from the ordinary citizen? The other Mutheus out there?
The help that I'm seeking. Let me tell you, this has drained us financially. That's one thing. Kwa sababu you go, the prosecutor isn't around. The next time someone didn't show up to court. So the more you go, the more the case is adjourned, and the more you're wasting money, because there you'll have a lawyer. You'll have to go with a lawyer. You will come from Nairobi to Kisumu. Honestly, I don't know. We're supposed to start, and I don't know what investigations we're supposed to do now, but I believe that maybe if we had, I don't know, a private investigator. I really don't know what I want, but I just need help. I'm screaming help. I'm screaming help because I believe my dad didn't kill himself. And if the whole world will go against me, fine. But the nature of that death, honestly, the only place in that house that had blood is a wall. And he was in bed. The photos are in bed. So he took himself from the wall at the door. That's where the blood was splashed there. At the bed, you won't tell me I will shoot myself all those times and take a gun and place it on my chest and I'm dead.
What you're looking for is closure. You want to really understand what happened to your dad.
I really
Because the
want
stories that you've been told, you do not believe.
Honestly,
As simple
don't.
as that.
Yeah.
And
Thank you, Mutheu. People have heard you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you for sharing your story with us. And we wish you all the best as you seek what city is actually rightfully calling closure. You want to be sure that this is what happened to my father. If evidence is actually given to you that shows satisfactorily that he committed suicide, well and good. If it doesn't, the other evidence should come out that shows this is what happened to Police Constable Alfred Ndalana. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
This is the Situation Room, the only way to start your day.